Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Fa la 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 la.
Welcome to Pat and Ken at the Holidays 2018 edition. I'm Patrick McDonald, the Uber critic.
You know, I was thinking of donning my gay apparel.
Hello.
Then I realized I left it at the dry cleaners.
Yes.
And I'm Ken Candela, the movie wag.
Yes, and this one we're going back a bit, Ken. 51 years.
51
sir.
years, Pat. Back to the
Can
60s.
you believe it? Yeah, the swinging 1960s with a couple of guys who had swung out by that time.
The Dean Martin Christmas Show, starring Frank Sinatra.
The Dean Martin Christmas Special. Now, this was part of his variety show.
Right.
This wasn't a standalone. This was just this.
Back then, all the shows, all the regular variety
Yeah.
shows, always did a Christmas show.
And you know, Dean Martin could barely show up for this. You know, he had in his contract. He just came for the taping, and this one really reflects it. But anyway, it's unusual because his guest is Frank Sinatra, and they have all their kids.
Right. They bring
and
their
Dean
families
has
in.
about 10 kids.
Dean has a ton of kids.
Claudia Martin, Craig Martin, Dean Martin Jr., Dina Martin, Gail Martin, Gina Martin, Ricky Martin, and Mrs. Dean Martin.
And he just names them like, you know.
Dina and Danny and
Now, here's
Dean
an-
Martin Jr.
Here's an ego: Dean Martin Jr. and Dina Martin. He has a girl and a son.
He even had Ricky Martin as his youngest.
Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin. And his wife, Gina.
Who looked most uncomfortable of the kids?
You know, I actually think, though, you know, I think compare this to the Judy Garland show we did a few years ago. These kids seem pretty relaxed. They were older for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the oldest Dean Martin son looked most uncomfortable, and he looked more like the Goomba that Dean was.
And that's my oldest son, Craig. I was proud of him right from the start. I took one look at him and decided to have 6 more.
Easy with the Goomba. I come from a long line of Goombas.
Kumbaya, my lord. Anyway, yeah. So I nostalgically, it was nice to look back, and I mean, it is a relic. I mean, it's a absolute should be in the Smithsonian.
Well, let's also say Frank had 3 kids.
Yes.
Nancy Sinatra, Frank Sinatra Jr., Tina Sinatra.
Now,
I mean, talk about laying some heavy trip on a kid. Your father's Frank Sinatra. I'm going to call my son Frank Sinatra Jr. and hope he makes something of himself.
Well,
Let's be honest. If I was Frank Sinatra's son, I probably would have taken up a trade, been a plumber or something. Because music, how are you going to top your father's career? So let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
Music. It's just Dean and Frank singing and dancing. There was one sequence. Well, the Marshmallow World is one of the classics.
It is, and that's been a standalone for years. Like if you see some highlights from Christmas shows past, they always play that one.
It's a marshmallow world in the winter when the snow comes to cover the ground.
And it works beautifully as an opener. It's a slam bang opener, as they say. And this is the one where they seem most comfortable. So I'm thinking they did that last.
Right.
You know.
Well, then they do another sequence where the two of them, they do a medley that seems to go on forever.
God.
And they're jogging and doing calisthenics the whole time.
That was a train wreck.
That's why the lady is a tramp. It seems we stood and talked like this before.
That was my least favorite segment of the whole thing.
I think so, me too.
Well,
Because it seemed like it ran forever. And they even alluded to that. Yeah.
Well, also too that they started to mimic each other's actions. Like Dean would run back, and then Frank would run back. And I mean, it literally was like
It's like the director didn't have the guts to say
millions of dollars in 2 guys who just don't rehearse. You know, so that was my least favorite segment. My favorite segment was Nancy Sinatra and Gina Martin doing like a Christmas thing,
Right.
and Nancy did "Boots Are Made for Walking," but with Santa Clauses.
Right.
Time to lose. Those boots were made for moving, so go on, get on down.
You know, one thing I found interesting, there's one segment where, okay, they're doing this, this Christmas with their family.
Yes.
And I think Dean and Frank are sitting there, and I don't know if the two young, attractive women come by, and they start to do their lecherous kind of approach, thinking, well, your family's, on this show. Shouldn't you kind of cool it?
Oh, boy. Wait a minute. Who's this? What's this? Oh, they're my mailmen. Oh, well, lay a stamp on me or something, baby.
They were probably part of the Dingaling Sisters or something.
The Gold Diggers that used to be on Dean's show, the Gold Digger. The other thing I used to love about
that
this
was
show.
not a politically correct era.
No,
Ken.
no.
The awkward Frank Jr. and Dean Martin Jr. segment where what was the song? It was like, "Are we going to be like Dad?" It's almost like a Freudian thing.
How do you talk to your dad? I just listen. I just listen. I just listen to what he has to say.
So let's talk about the surprise guest, Ken. He opens the closet as Dean did every week.
Yeah.
And it was...
Santa Davis Jr., you look very familiar. Sammy Davis Jr.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Sammy.
And you expect him to come out and maybe do a little kibitzing, and maybe
Yeah.
a little soft shoe, and he does nothing.
He's literally the segment lasts 10
Right.
seconds.
And then goes back in the closet.
Who does he refer to? Somebody Dean laid or something?
I don't know.
Do the name Ruby Begonia strike a familiar note?
But he
Ruby.
didn't really have much to say, and then Dean closes the closet door and does a song. Right.
Your Christmas bell rating for the Dean Martin Christmas special.
I'm going to give this a
1967.
ring-a-ding-ding. I'm going to give this 3 Christmas bells.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I've always been a big fan of Sinatra and Martin.
I gotta go 2.5 on this one too, because I just feel like they were just phoning it in, folks. And the awkward kids thing, especially the oldest Dean Martin son. Oh, one more thing. Steubenville, Ohio. Proud.
And all you kids at the Ohio Valley Hospital in Steubenville, Ohio, you better meet Santa on the lawn, because he can't get all the toys we're sending you down that chimney.
In our next segment, we'll be going into the holiday tin.
The Holiday Tin!
The holiday tin of movies that we've looked at in the past. We'll pull a movie out, and we'll review it right on the spot.
That's what she said.
That's next. I'm Pat and Ken at the holidays.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Do the name Ruby Begonia strike a familiar note?